The Cauca province has been a hotbed for armed groups, drug trafficking, and illicit crops such as coca and marijuana plants that makes its way to the Pacific coast. The presence of the Revolutionary Armed Forces of Colombia, or FARC, is felt in the mountains of the Cauca Valley. This is a mural for victims of the armed conflict, and graffiti sprayed over it reads, "Until victory, FARC, the People's Army." While some of the indigenous people support FARC for their stand against the government, many other natives are repulsed by the brutality they inflict on the land. The nation's eyes have fallen on Toribio, where the recent events have unfolded, yet some in the region would say it was a long time coming. According to local government estimates, in the past 20 years, Toribio has lived through 600 clashes between the army and the FARC, as well as 14 total takeovers by the rebel group. This video is of a FARC occupation in 2002. The police tried to get out of the rubble left from a bombing of their station located in the middle of the town. This man, surrounded by others carrying a white flag, approaches the guerrilla leaders to make sure the police are not kidnapped. He is the pastor of the town, Father Ezio Ruatini. The Italian pastor has been working in the Cauca province for more than 30 years and has lived through Toribio's constant violence.
Veo que es una masacre de los inocentes esta. No se darán cuenta. ¿Cuántos muertos?
This is a massacre of the innocents. Don't they realize? How many more dead? Hundreds die when you're killing the joy of living under threat, not just 7, 8, or 10 hours, but no, the next day it continues.
On July 9th, 2011, a bus came down this street. The driver parked it in front of the police station behind me. He ran off, and moments later, the bus exploded. One soldier and 3 civilians died, but hundreds were injured, along with more than 100 homes that were destroyed. Trino Pavi Medina, of Toribio's Nasa indigenous community, witnessed the destruction.
La mayoría ha podido identificar o analizar de que era un objetivo de.
Many have said the purpose was to destroy the police station.
Pero en últimas uno echándole mucho más análisis.
But when you really think about it, if that was the objective, they mostly just destroyed the town.
Toribio is still rebuilding after the events from a year ago. And again, on July 6th of this year, the town went through 3 intense days of clashes that ended with a cylinder bomb landing on an indigenous health clinic. This is what Father Ezio Ruatini describes as the final straw that set off the indigenous people's stand to stop the violence.
It is interpreted as a gesture of rebellion against the state, but its purpose is not to kick out the state, but to throw out death from this territory. To kick out war, which obviously has actors, but the supreme law is life.
Former indigenous mayor of Toribio, Arquimedes Vitonas, has been a victim of FARC actions, yet he still believes the Colombia's military should go. He says the only way for the region to develop is to get rid of the conflict. Poverty, violence, oppression, and an eternal fight for land makes this area a hotbed for armed groups.
All the decades of war, conflict, and violence have not allowed us to forge a strong economy and well-being in the territory. Right now, what do the people live off of? They live from illicit crops and the little they can produce on small plots of land they do have. It is a poor economy of subsistence farming that fosters all other conflicts that reach us.
Lo que genera un cultivo abonado para otra serie de conflictos que se vienen aquí.
The government has said these protests from the indigenous community are due to FARC propaganda, but the indigenous leaders say they are not FARC sympathizers and that they act on their own. This video, recorded on a cell phone, shows an indigenous community in the Cauca province chasing FARC guerrillas out of their territory. The Toribio community also punished 4 indigenous youth who were found guilty of guerrilla actions.
To all the weapons we must bring in civil society, the people that suffer through war and violence, that is how we will construct peace. Colombia has not lived through a successful peace process because those who sit down to talk have a rifle in their hand. That doesn't lead us anywhere.
Dora Elsa Salas is the director of the NASA radio station of the region. She was part of the group that decided to march up to the military base and tell the soldiers to leave. She feels the actions have been misrepresented in the media.
We didn't go up there to have a physical altercation with the armed forces. We consider them human beings, just like us. In fact, we believe they are some of the poorest and neediest young men who come from faraway places just to serve.
Her son is a victim of FARC violence. He was left blind by a grenade thrown by the FARC during a takeover of the town in 2005. But to Dora Elsa Salas, the Colombian soldiers that walk the streets of Toribio and that are supposed to bring protection for her family only bring more harm than good.
For us, it is not secure to see a member of the military in or near my house. I suffer. I ask them to please leave. That is a risk. You are a military target, and at any moment you can be a subject of an armed group attack.
With the recent wave of violence and protests, Toribio has gone quiet. The streets are mostly bare, and the presence of armed soldiers is a daunting reminder that the Colombian armed conflict continues.
Those that have made Toribio a sad municipality or a ghost town are the armed actors. We can't say one more than the other, but between them they have changed this territory that was once very happy. It was a place where we could be okay.